right, this is example number 2 from our first day of notes for chapter 5. And again, we are going to be using the first derivative test so that we can sketch a graph of the function. And we're going to do that by finding the intervals on which it is increasing or decreasing. So in order to find the derivative of this function, if you notice, it would be the chain rule. So we are finding the first derivative, and it would be the chain rule. So we're going to have our outer, in this case it would be 2/5, and our outer prime, multiply by that 2/5, subtract 1, which would give us -3/5, and our inner is the 2x plus 4, and our inner derivative would be 2. So the first derivative of this function is going to be the outer prime with its inner times the inner prime. So we are going to have 2/5 with the inner of the 2x plus 4 to the power of -3/5 times the inner derivative. So what does that give us? 4 over 5. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the denominator to give us a positive exponent. So what are our critical values for this one? That's what we're going to do next, because we need to identify left and right what is happening as far as the function increasing and decreasing. So if you take a look at this one, 4 over 5, 2x plus 4, quantity to the 3/5. Now, what could happen with that? This is a situation where we have a vertical asymptote. So that would be a critical value in figuring out what's happening on either side. So my critical value in this case would be a -2. And why is that? If you take a look here, the 2x plus 4, where would that possibly be 0? And that is x is equal to -2. So now we're going to do the number line test. So this one is just going to have the critical value of -2. So we want to find some values to the left and the right. -3 looks like a decent one, and 0 looks like a decent one. So we are going to put those values into our derivative. And we're going to have 4 over 5, 2 times the -3 plus the 4 to the power of 3/5. And if we think about that one, it would end up being actually a negative. Because if you think about it, this part all right here ends up being a negative number. So that ends up having a negative in that part of the interval. So above the -3 is going to be a negative. Now we're going to look at 0 in our function. This is our testing points. So we're going to have 4 over 5, 2 times 0 plus 4 to the 3/5. And if you kind of take a look at what that number might be, positive or negative, and it ends up being positive. So we have positive on that right side of the critical value. So if you want to kind of do some more dividing of the different sections, you can do that as well. So the thing we're asked to do next is to draw the graph. In this particular case, we are going to have a coordinate, and our critical value is here at -2. And what the number line test is telling us that on the left of -2, it's heading down to that point, and then on the right, it's heading up. So this would give us an idea of what that function would look like. Now, this point right here, that is what we call a cusp, which is where there actually isn't a derivative, which in this case, the -2, if you recall, was undefined. Okay, that's example number 2. See you next time.